It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Tony Cappuccilli, who is a Los Angeles Dodgers player developmental. How are you doing today?
Doing good so far. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Can you talk about how you got started in the career of baseball?
Yeah, so I got done playing in college at the University of Nevada, and got into coaching right away as soon as I got done, and I was actually coaching at my old high school. I spent 6 years there. I spent 4 years coaching junior college in Southern California. And then I did 1 year at UNLV and 3 years at the University of New Mexico. And then in the summer of 2017, I got an opportunity with the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, and came into our minor league player development system. It's more working with hitters, and that's kind of transitioned in the last couple of years into more helping out with catchers. And I was going to manage this year until COVID shut everything down. So I've had quite an interesting path to get to where I'm at right now.
Can you talk about what you've achieved so far as a player development for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
For us as a whole, our biggest thing that we're trying to accomplish is moving players on and getting them into the major leagues. And so for us, we hold a high source of pride in being able to focus on developing players, getting them to move up into higher levels, hopefully, continuing to contribute at the major league level. And then also, winning championships along the way through the minor league levels, and then also, as you saw this year, in the major league level. So for us, it was a huge source of pride for our whole minor league player development system as a whole. Seeing how many guys we had on the major league roster and the World Series, how many guys were homegrown, talent players, guys that we drafted, or guys that we signed that worked their way through our system and eventually helped us win a World Series title.
What is the day-to-day job like as a player developmental coach?
It kind of depends on the time of the year. So we go through, our stages of spring training into our season, into our instructional league, which we just wrapped up this past Friday. Spring training it's a long day. It's a lot of fun. It was a little bit different this year, obviously getting shut down. But spring training is always cool because there's a lot of excitement. There's you get a lot of fans out at the complex. When the big league team's playing at home, you get people walking around and they're really excited. A lot of people know some of our younger prospects. So spring training is kind of a grind. It's an early morning and it's a long day, with a full morning of workout and then an afternoon game. And then once that's over, for example, I've been in the Arizona League the last few years. We would break that and go into our extended spring training, where a lot of our players would be in the Arizona League or in the Pioneer League and our rookie advanced team. And it's kind of the same thing, the early morning, and an early afternoon game. Once that's done, it's just kind of daily, do it all over again. And it's more or less about continuing to go out every day with the intention of getting better and moving on and continuing to improve. So it's very development focused for us.
What was it like to see the Los Angeles Dodgers win the World Series this year?
That was incredible. For me, not having, coached any of those players, in our seasons, but, getting to know some of those guys, whether it would be during spring training, during our instructional league, maybe some of them came down and had rehab assignments with us in the Arizona League. It was a lot of fun. It was really incredible to watch and just kind of know from the inside, even in the minor league levels, of what goes into, making a season be successful. During COVID, we got an opportunity to get to know pretty much the whole major league staff, and they'd be on Zoom calls with us. So getting to know those guys and, being able to see them in the dugout and experience the success we've been chasing for 32 years, really. And then especially with how things have gone since 2016 of getting to the NLCS and losing twice in the World Series. And this was a really big deal for everybody in the organization, especially given the fact that with COVID, there was some really difficult challenges that guys had to overcome to keep everybody healthy and make sure the season went as planned.
That's wonderful. Can you talk about do y'all get to receive a ring on the minor league team if the major league team wins?
Yeah, so I've got a ring. I got here in 17, and by the time I got here, it was a little bit late in the year. So I didn't get a ring that year just because when I got here. 2018, when we lost to Boston, I got a National League ring. So that was pretty incredible, even getting that. So we've been hoping for the big one for a while now. So I'm pretty excited to see what this major league ring is going to look like, this World Series ring.
What do you look forward to happening whenever you get this major league ring?
For us, it is just it really just shows that we do place a lot of importance on our development. But even for all of us in the minor league system, we're rooting for those players once they get to the big leagues to be successful, because we know those guys are working really hard to get there. So when you've developed relationships with some of those guys and you get to see them playing on the biggest stage, I mean, it's really special for us. So and knowing all of us, just the buzz around us hoping to get to that finally getting to that point where we can win the World Series. I think getting that ring will be really special for everybody. Obviously, more so for the guys that were there in the dugout and on the field, but for everybody in the organization that was supporting them the whole way, it's going to be pretty special.
What are some favorite things that you've done as a player development for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
The biggest thing is we have some incredible people working for us. So it really comes down to, building relationships with the people that we're working with, whether it be other staff members or players. We're really lucky. We have an organization that from the top down, they truly care about how we develop players. So they are in a position where they can get us any resource that we feel is necessary to help develop players and move them on to, move up the ladder and eventually hopefully into the big leagues. So we're really lucky. So every day we go to work, I mean, that is something that we're very well aware of, especially in comparison to some other organizations that may not have the financial means that our organization does. And so those guys, their willingness to, put us in the best position to help develop the players we're really fortunate. I think that's been the best part for me.
What is something that you did not know before you were starting being a player developmental coach at the Los Angeles Dodgers?
For me, coming out of college baseball, when I did, the technology and some of the numbers involved and some of the advanced numbers and scouting tools and just some of the tools that we use every day to, whether it's measuring player success or their movements or just their performance overall, some of those things we didn't have access to, when I was coaching in high school or college baseball. So getting here and having some of those tools and understanding how we use those tools to help make players better and how that helps, our communication with the players, and how we can kind of put things in different terms for them to understand, for them to visually see, exactly what we're talking about, and it's a way for us to kind of quantify what our eyes are telling us. So we have data, we have video, we have movement things that can back up what we're trying to tell players. So that's been a really nice tool to have, so we can really maximize how we improve our players.
What advice would you give upcoming future people that are looking to get into the MLB being a player developmental coach?
I think everybody always says make connections and build relationships, and I do think that's one of the biggest things is creating relationships with people that are in the industry, people that you want to be working with or working for, people that you want to be around. So building those relationships are really important, and then just educating yourself, because especially in baseball, the game's changing so much. There's so much technology involved. There's so much in terms of numbers that are involved. You really have to understand those things that are going on right now. And if you're not familiar with those, you need to find a way to get familiar with them really quickly, because in this case right now, you're going to get passed up by people who have that knowledge of using the tools that we have, at our disposal to use for the players' improvement.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I've got Twitter and Instagram and all those things. I think my Twitter is TCAP19. I think my Instagram is probably the same thing, or 19TCAP or something like that. So, yeah.
Thank you again, Tony Cappuccilli, for your interview, and best of luck with the Los Angeles Dodgers as a player developmental coach.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Tony, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.